female co-worker is probably contemplating quitting her job within the next 2 years, most certainly before most males are considering quitting their careers. Consulting firm Deloitte Global spoke to over 5,000 women who said they intend leaving their current job. So what are the reasons for that? Well, let's bring into the conversation, always good, labour consultant Tony Healy Associates. That's at the Tony Healy from the Associates. Hello to you, Tony. So take me through these numbers, because I was shocked when I saw that. What's the research showing us?
Well, good morning, Gareth. Yes, I think what it's showing us is that many women and men, for that example, for that matter, are saying to themselves, you know what, in the last 2 and a bit years of COVID, we've had a taste of a hybrid lifestyle of working at home and working at the office, and we would like for that to continue. And one way of doing that is, especially if you're working in a big organization, is unfortunately you're going to have to leave and try and perhaps consult from your home or consult from elsewhere. But I think what is interesting about this particular research is that we must remember it's a big consulting firm. So most of these women will be graduates and will be professionals and are already consulting on behalf of, for example, Deloitte. So it might be easier for them to transition into a lifestyle where they work for themselves. And I think you probably get a similar result, for example, if you were to research the sentiments of female workers in large legal practices.
I'm curious on the research talking about, Tony, tell me if you agree or disagree with me, that over the last 2.5 years, a lot of the reasons that they say they want to leave their jobs, the women who were polled in this, saying it's burnout and mental health. It does almost go against the idea of having been in lockdown, where we weren't having to go and sit in stressful jobs, in stressful work environments. We were all working from home. So where do you think the burnout and mental health issues are coming from?
Well, I think even if you're working from home, or even if you're working out of a shared office space, if you know, the pressures remain. I mean, if I look at our own practice, I would say the pressures on us are no different, have been no different in the last 2.5 years to what they were prior to that. I think another important factor, Gareth, is that, you know, it's easier said than done. I think many people would love to work for themselves. Many people would like to have 2 or 3 side hustles and greater flexibility in their lives and would aspire to that. Many people would like to open their own businesses. But that, you know, often reality kicks in when you have to make that actual step of resigning. So in as much as many would like to, you know, that doesn't necessarily mean that they all will.
I'm curious to get your thoughts, Tony, because you're obviously part of a very, very large firm, Tony Healy Associates. I'm just interested in what you just said about working from home, working for yourself. I'll give you the example of my wife. She's a chartered accountant, runs her own firm, but she's been working from home since COVID. And she's firmly of the belief, as am I, she actually works longer working from home because COVID seems to have taken away what you and I would regard as office hours. Now everything is available all the time over Zoom and WhatsApp. She's under the impression, tell me if you agree, she's been working harder during lockdown than she was before.
Yeah, and that's our experience. So, you know, I think this is worth thinking about as well. If you were to do the same research amongst a group of employees who are not graduates, remember the Deloitte demographic, they're all graduates, they're all professionals. So it's easier for them to embark upon a different career path under their own account. But if you were to take entry-level workers, they might have exactly the same aspirations, but it's much harder for them to do that because they don't have the qualifications to open the doors that the females at Deloitte's have when more than half of them say that they would like to, you know, they plan to resign and to move on. But to your point, absolutely. And I think that answers your previous question as well. Even though we've been in COVID, it doesn't, and working from home, which at first glance would appear to be attractive, and in many ways it is, it certainly made no difference at all to your working hours. If anything, it's extended them.
No, I don't think many people would disagree with you or I, Tony, on that. I'll leave this as my last question to you, and let's talk about the unemployment numbers for a moment. I'm sure you knew I was going to go here. It's one thing to say that you're sick and tired of working from home, working all these hours, not getting paid enough, 50% salary, but the problem is there aren't that many jobs out there. They're not exactly flush with employment. You probably shouldn't just decide to pack up and leave without having a real plan.
Well, that's right, Gareth. And, you know, we work in the field of dismissal disputes, for example, as well. And it amazes me daily that employees, one would expect in this day and age, when 1 in 2 employees are unemployed, that those that are employed will protect their jobs with their lives. You know, and that means, you know, making sure you're employee of the month, if that's what it takes, to use a phrase, to make sure that you retain your employment. And so many don't do that, and so many put their employment at risk. And yes, with employment being so tight, and there's no reason to believe this is going to change anytime soon, it is extremely difficult to find and secure employment at the moment.
It really is, and that's such good advice where we leave it there. Tony Healy, labour consultant, Tony Healy and Associates. If you think it's stressful working for a 50% salary for now, doing all the work you ordinarily did and did do more work as well, try being unemployed in South Africa at the moment. It's a lot worse.